Now that we've learned a little bit about arrays, let's see if we can figure out some ways to use them. So I'm in my script editor already. I've got a spreadsheet and I've called it using arrays, and I've got a script project and I've already saved it and I've called it using arrays as well. I'm going to go ahead and start with some new functions. I'm going to create a function, or we'll go ahead and say function test array create. And I've got this. We'll go ahead and save it, and if we run it, it won't actually do anything. That's actually not super exciting, but we'll create an array here. We'll create it two different ways. So we'll say var array declaration, and we'll just give this a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that gives us an array. So if we wanted to log how long it was, we could use array declaration dot length. And if I run my function here, and if I bring up my logs, you'll see we get 5, which is about what I would expect for an array with 5 things in it. We can also log the entire array, logger log array declaration. And if we go ahead and save and hit enter, well, we got to run it here. Let's run it. And we view our log, you'll see we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pretty much exactly what we expect. If we want to see what the first thing is, we can use log the first value is, and then we can just use array declaration, and we'll get the first thing, which is the 0 index, and we run that, and now we'll see the first value is 3. And we could see what we'll say. Let's look at the third thing here. So the third value is array declaration 2, and if we run this and then look at our log, we'll see 5. You can always look at that log by just go to view logs, or you can just use the keyboard shortcut. I like the keyboard shortcut because it's a little faster. We can also see what happens if we try to go beyond our array. The 10th value is array declaration 9, and if we run this, we'll see, well, now we're into undefined territory. The 10th value is undefined because we haven't done that, and we call these the bounds of our array. So our array goes from 0 up to 4, aka 0 to array declaration dot length -1. So we call those the bounds of our array. If we go beyond the bounds, we're going to get these undefined values. Now that's one way we can create arrays. We can also use the other way, which is var other array, and we can say new array, and we'll say April, May, and June. Let's get our commas and our double quotes right here. And that doesn't give us any problems. We can save this fine. And if we were to log this, logger.log other array, you would see pretty much the same way. We're gonna, if we bring up our log, we get April, May, June. And if we were to use logger.log other array length is other array.length, and if we run this, we'll see exactly we have 3 things in our array. And we could use logger.log other array 1, and this should give us May. So there you go. Pretty easy to create these arrays. Pretty easy to access the things within them. So let's look at how we can actually add to the arrays. So we'll create a function add value to array. Now, and we will give let's give it a parameter. We'll just pass an array as our parameter. And we will use array.push. We'll say 7. We'll just push 7 into the array. So in our main function here, our test array create, if we use add value to array, other array, then we log what the array looks like. Let's go ahead and run, and we hit Shift enter or Command enter, and when you'll see April, May, June, 7. And if we were to call this a few times, I'm just going to copy and paste this line a few times. You can select it and hit Control C or Command C, and then just Control V or Command V over and over again. If we run this now, you'll see we're actually adding multiple values to the end of our array, 777. So we can add the same thing over and over again, and we can have a mix of strings and numbers with our arrays. Those are both totally fine. We can add things to the beginning as well, so we could create a function add to beginning of array, and then we can use array dot shift. We'll say -7, and if we add the values to the beginning of the array, add value to beginning of array, other array. We'll go ahead and save that. We can just copy this log statement and we'll paste it right down here. And we run this. What does it not like? It doesn't like something here. What did it say? We run it. Add value to beginning of array. We didn't have value there, so you can see that's going to pop up with that message. Add to beginning of array. Now when we run and we look at this, we should see -7 right in the front of this. That was unshift. We should add unshift. So here we can see the problem. Shift is going to remove that value. If we unshift that value, push and unshift are sort of the similar. Shift, push goes to the end and unshift goes to the beginning. Now if we look at this, we should see -7. So we want to use unshift. And if we want to remove things from our array, we can do that as well. We can use, let's go ahead and go back to our first array declaration dot pop, array declaration dot shift. And then if we log array declaration again, we'll just copy and paste this value down to the bottom, and we run this. Our very last line in our log should say 456 because we've taken off 7 with pop and we've taken off 3 with push. In fact, if we want to just log these directly, we can see. Let's go ahead and just log these. And we can say removed that value. We can say removed that value. We run, and once this is done running, we bring up our log, and you can see we remove 7, we remove 3, and we're left with 4, 5, and 6. So pretty easy to use push, pop, shift, and unshift to go ahead and manipulate those arrays. So we can do some pretty interesting things just with those 4 methods and those just creating new arrays. We can get the length, we can modify these, we can manipulate them, do lots of interesting and cool things. We'll get more into how we can use arrays and other interesting things we can do with them in our next video. But for now, thanks for watching.